We found that more than 500 retired U.S. military personnel since 2015 have gone to work for foreign governments or for foreign-owned companies. The vast majority of those are in the Middle East.
One of the most prominent of these consultants is retired four-star General James Jones. Jones spent decades in service to the United States of America.
The American people owe Jim an unbelievable debt of gratitude for a lifetime of service.
His resume is remarkable. Four-star Marine General, Commandant of the Marine Corps, NATO's Supreme Allied Commander, Europe, and National Security Advisor to President Barack Obama.
Jim has always been a steady voice in Situation Room sessions, daily briefings, and with meetings with foreign leaders.
But there's one title that isn't advertised on the website of his private consulting firm, Jones Group International, and that's advisor to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the country's leader, Mohammed bin Salman.
The Saudis, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Israel, a lot of these retired U.S. military personnel have expertise that these countries really value as they try and expand their own militaries. It's a new revolving door, and it can be very lucrative for retired U.S. military personnel.
The retired officers are supposed to get permission before accepting jobs with foreign countries or companies.
The U.S. government wants to make sure that these retired military personnel retain their loyalty to the United States and that they aren't taking jobs or consulting roles that could conflict U.S. policy with what these people are doing overseas. They also still receive a pension from U.S. taxpayers.
According to documents obtained by the Washington Post through the Freedom of Information Act, General Jones did receive permission from the State Department for his company to do business with foreign governments. In an interview with the Washington Post, Jones said that he and his company agreed to conduct an organizational assessment of the Saudi armed forces starting in 2017, but only after checking with officials at the White House, State Department, and Defense Department, and obtaining their support.
Saudi Arabia has been in the news quite a bit because the U.S. government has accused the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, of orchestrating the assassination, the murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. Now, General Jones and his companies already had their contracts with the Saudi Crown Prince, so they were working for the Crown Prince before Khashoggi was murdered. After Khashoggi was murdered, they kept going, they kept working for them.
In his interview with the Post, Jones said he was very shocked and surprised at what evidently happened to Khashoggi. But he said his company received encouragement from the U.S. government to keep working for the Saudis. Jones told the Post that he was worried that the Saudis would possibly drift off to other relationships with the Chinese and the Russians.
So I think that's the question. It's one more of ethics. And in particular in Saudi Arabia, they've been carrying on a war in next door Yemen for the last several years. It's been a real humanitarian crisis. If you're retired U.S. military personnel, in particular if you were high-ranking general or admiral, do you really want to go work for a government with not very good human rights records or governments that aren't democracies like the United States?
Even harder to obtain have been records that show how much these generals are being paid.
The Washington Post has been suing the government under the Freedom of Information Act to obtain that information. We hope to find out that information soon.
Jones Group International continues to consult for foreign governments and companies, including Saudi Arabia.